So this is a quick presentation on using DelegateEbeanServer in testing to mock out a response to findById or provide a stub response. So here we're using DelegateEbeanServer as our mock instance of EbeanServer. And we're saying when findById on customer, then return the foo instance. So we've already defined a foo instance up here. So we're using mock-ebean to run. So that means that in the execution of this runnable, then our default EbeanServer is this instance here. So if we go customer findById, it actually doesn't matter what the ID is in this case. Then the bean that will be returned by that is our foo instance that we've set up in our when find. Now I'll just take you to another example here. So here we've got our mock server set up, and now we've got a specific findById, so customer with 42. So when we find customer 42, we'll return Baz 42. But if we have another one here, which is kind of like a fallback response. So if you do find customer without a 42 ID, then return bar. So in this case, we do findById 42, we get our Baz 42 instance. So that is what we set up here, which is the specific ID. And then if we do a findById which doesn't match our 42 ID of Baz, then we'll get bar. So findById of 98 or 123 or anything else of customer, and we'll actually return bar. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out here was in terms of our DelegateEbeanServer, that is a delegate, and will delegate method calls through to its underlying EbeanServer, which for us, the default EbeanServer is talking to H2 in-memory database. So actually, if we don't use one of these finds, if we use other queries, these will actually fall through to the underlying EbeanServer, and so this will actually hit the database. So if we run this test, then what we'll see is we won't see these queries hit the database because we've got our stub responses that we've set up here. But our actual find of product 23 will actually come through and we'll see SQL resulting from that. So if we come down here and look at the SQL that was generated, we'll actually see our query select from product where ID equals 23. So going back to that, we set up a couple of findByIds specifically for customer. So one with a specific ID, one without. And we saw how that worked. And then we note that when we do queries that we haven't actually provided a response for, these will actually go through to the underlying EbeanServer that the delegate is front-ending, if you like.